Today on Breeze TV, how over 500 community members signed a petition against the lack of transparency from the university.
Plus, both men and women's soccer hit the turf for their Sunbelt matches in the Valley.
Then Soji sachets into LGBTQ plus History Month with their annual drag show.
I'm here at the JMU Field Hockey Complex, where the Dukes are preparing for their first weekend back in the Berg after 2 weeks of games on the road.
Live from the Allison B. Parker Studio in the School of Media Arts and Design at James Madison University, this is Breeze TV.
Welcome back to Breeze TV. I'm Zoe Mowry.
And I'm Noel James.
JMU faculty and staff are fighting back against anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric on campus at the same time as the first ever queer teach-in. The teach-in comes after dozens of flyers were found in campus buildings and even on professors' office doors slamming LGBTQ+ lifestyles. I had a chance to speak with the person who started the teach-in. She says she's frustrated by the university's lack of an appropriate response to the flyers that were distributed. One flyer obtained by the Breeze reinforced the gender binary system, opposed preferred pronouns, and encouraged suppression of any LGBTQ+ lifestyle.
It's irritating to have someone call into question your existence, your being.
As an openly queer professor, Kristen Kelly has spearheaded the movement against the anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric. Kelly, along with many unnamed faculty members, were disappointed in the lack of transparency from the university and wrote a letter to the president and provost. She then received a reply that she said fell short of the message they were trying to send, so they decided to make the petition public. After 500 signatures from students and staff, Kelly knew they weren't alone.
We're adults and we pay to go to this school, and the fact that we're not being informed about what's going on, I feel like that's just not right.
Kelly gave hard copies of the signatures to the university. Then she was met with another email, one that she calls a cold response. The email was from JMU Police Chief Anthony Matos and Malika Carter-Hoyt, Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. The email was meant to address the flyers and clear up any misinformation. It said, quote, "At this point, JMU PD is not aware of any crime that has been committed, and there has not been a defensible legal basis to issue a criminal no trespass order for public spaces."
With lack of direct communication from our leaders, we are left to talk to one another, which is typically what humans do in crisis. You communicate, you reach out for connection. So as we're reaching out for connection, we are trying to piece together what's going on because there isn't a central response.
These offensive things affect people and affect JMU students, and I'm one of them for sure. And I know a lot of people that are, fearful, hurt, feel disregarded.
Vice President for Student Affairs Tim Miller sent out an email addressing the divisive messages. The email acknowledged the flyers can make students feel unsafe and gave them resources for support. Prior to Miller's message, no official communication had been sent to students. In an email sent to the Breeze, Mary Hope Vass, Executive Director of Communications and University spokesperson, said JMU will share information with students as necessary, and they have seen no threat of safety to students.
It would be really powerful for students to be addressed with respect to the way that they're feeling and experiencing this.
Despite these instances, both Kelly and O are continuing to push for change.
I want them to affirm that I belong at JMU as a student, especially as a queer person of color that goes here.
I would love to see JMU, particularly through the Faculty Senate, really address policy around how JMU can lead with the values that we do claim to hold so deeply.
While this has not happened yet, people like Kelly are stepping up to bring the community together to have the tough conversations about these flyers and anti-LGBTQ+ language in general. To read more about the community's reaction, you can pick up a copy of The Breeze on stands today.
With Hispanic Heritage Month underway, JMU held their own event to celebrate Hispanic culture in celebrating Dia de los Muertos. This event has been held regularly, but this year had the biggest turnout. Hispanic music, ofrendas, coloring, and arts and crafts display the unique culture. Contributor Lauren Keller is in the Union Ballroom to learn more about the importance of this diverse culture.
Estela Dizenat is a musician raised in the Valley. She connects to these roots with her music. She bridges her music with her Mexican heritage and the Valley music, creating Mexilation music.
this tradition will, become our tradition here. I'm happy, I'm super excited that so many people came, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
As a child, Estella found it hard to fit in her cultures. Finding her passion in music has helped bring her back to her ancestry. Now she is coming back to the community to share with JMU students during Hispanic Heritage Month.
Even though I never thought to myself as like a teenager that I'd be doing what I'm doing now, it doesn't surprise me that I am where I am because of all that I learned from my mother and her community building mindset.
JMU Libraries crafted an arts and crafts event to celebrate Dia de los Muertos. Students came to learn about the Hispanic culture and embraced in it through this art and music.
It's very, very important to learn about other cultures because Harrisonburg is such a diverse community, and I had no idea of that coming here.
The event left a big impact on participants learning about the Hispanic culture from people of this descent.
Sure, they may be knowledgeable about it, but they might not actually have experienced it, and there can offer you like the different perspectives and exactly how that culture works with those people.
Another local Hispanic artist features Marisa Calo, who showcased her ofrendas and teaches participants throughout the event. She recognizes how important it is to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, as many people cannot come home to celebrate with their families.
To be with others and to share where you came from, your background, and to learn where they came from, and that sharing, I think, that brings us into a very personal space, but also a shared space.
Reporting for Breeze TV, I'm Lauren Keller.
Political correspondent Regine Aranazari has the update on all things politics in the Commonwealth. Regine, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Zoe, and welcome to Breeze TV Politics. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin has raised over $7 million in the third quarter ahead of next month's legislative elections. Youngkin has shattered fundraising records in the Commonwealth as his Spirit of Virginia PAC raised more than $4 million in 48 hours this week. This comes as top GOP donors urge Youngkin to consider a 2024 presidential bid. With all eyes on Virginia's elections, the Biden administration has announced that the Democratic National Committee would invest an additional $1.2 million into the race. An error has caused an unknown number of eligible Virginia voters to be removed from the voter rolls. The issue primarily affects former felons who have had their voting rights restored. State election officials are working with Virginia State Police to fix the misclassification of probation violations as felonies and reinstate their voter registration. As part of the Inclusive Community Series, Maggie Siddiqui, the director of the Center for Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships, spoke at Grafton Stovall Theater on the importance of religious diversity. Siddiqui joined the U.S. Department of Education in May of 2022 under the Biden-Harris administration. She has spent over a decade of her life committed to serving the Muslim community and advocating for progressive faith-based policies.
Research shows diversity enhances learning, improves student outcomes. Our country is stronger when we prepare students of all backgrounds to live, learn, work, and lead our multiracial democracy together.
After the overturning of affirmative action, Siddiqui says the Biden-Harris administration is continuing work to advocate for equal opportunities in higher education to promote diversity. Breeze TV contributor Logan Mitchell is in studio with this week's top stories across the nation.
Speaker of the House. In an unprecedented move, 8 Republicans joined all Democrats in a historic
So sorry for the technical difficulties, but coming up on Breeze TV Sports,
we check back in with reporter Piper Hepler to find out everything you need to know about field hockey.
Then men and women's soccer face tough tests at Centera Park.
Plus, how football is taking advantage of the off week after defeating South Alabama.
We've got all this and more when we get back.
It's bow time.
Dude, we need gas.
Yo, we gotta get those Supremes.
We're not gonna make it.
It's bow time, baby.
So worth it, right? I'm glad y'all ran out of gas.
Boldly seasoned chicken Supremes with a biscuit, fixin', and drink. It's bow time.
Bojangles, Cajun filet biscuit. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Nothing compares to our signature Cajun Spice Chicken Breast Filet on a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. Breakfast so good, we serve it all day. Get the best chicken biscuit. The one, the only Cajun Filet Biscuit. For a limited time, get 2 Cajun Filet Biscuits for just $5. Bojangles, it's bow time.
It's bow time. It takes 49 steps to bake a fluffy made-from-scratch Bojangles biscuit. But to make it a country ham biscuit, it takes 50. Get a fresh buttermilk biscuit today with a slice of juicy country-style ham. It's bow time.
The one, the only Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit. Nothing compares to our signature Cajun Spice Chicken Breast Filet on a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit is so good, we serve it all day. For a limited time, get 2 Cajun Filet Biscuits for just $5. Bojangles, it's bow time.
Welcome back to the Breeze TV Sports Desk, your source for all things JMU sports. This is Colby Reese. JMU field hockey is set to face off with the Lancers and the Blue Devils this weekend. Reporter Piper Hepler is live at the field hockey complex to tell us more. Piper?
Thanks, Colby. As you can see behind me, the field hockey team is getting ready for their matchup against Longwood. They've lost 7 straight and they're 2-8 on the season. But this weekend, they hope to take advantage of their 2 home games to get back on track against Longwood and Duke. They'll be doing so on the heels of a 3-game road trip which featured a matchup against 4th-ranked Louisville, which the team narrowly dropped 4-1.
We're a good team. We're just not getting the finishes.
But the team's togetherness will be their strength heading into the weekend with Sunday's matchup against dangerous and nationally ranked number 4 Duke looming.
Resilience, it has to be. You know, we're not winning games, but we're in every game. A lot of growth as people, a lot of growth as players, a lot of growth as a team.
We've come a long way from the start of the season to as of right now. Our fundamental skills have grown so much throughout the season that the connection is able to occur from one stick to the second stick.
Senior Tori Carawan says it's the team's attack that will be pivotal to their success.
Going up to the circle and just taking risks and taking so many outcomes in the circle, I think that's one of our strong suits.
But she's also looking forward to catching up with former teammates at Friday night's alumni game.
Played with those girls for years. It would be great to see them again and catch up with them, talk to them, and see how they're doing.
2022 graduate Kara McClure will be joining the live broadcast, and Longwood's head coach Miranda Rigg played for the Dukes from 2015 to 2019.
For Miranda to be bringing her team here as an alum, that's exciting too. You know, she's loyal to our program. She wants to win, absolutely, but she understands where she's come from and she respects and loves her roots.
On Sunday, JMU's matchup with Duke will feature Staff and Faculty Recognition Day and the team's 4th-ranked national opponent of the season. Don't forget, Sunday's matchup against Duke is Staff Appreciation Day, so come out and support the team. Tonight's showdown starts at 5 p.m., and you can catch it on ESPN+. That's all from me. Back to you in the studio, Colby.
Thank you, Piper. Awesome stuff over there. Women's and men's soccer faced tough Sunbelt task recently at home. Sports reporter Tommy Gerganis is in studio to tell us how these matchups played out. Tommy, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Colby. JMU women's soccer took on Louisiana Monroe at Santera Park last night, looking to stay undefeated in conference play. The Dukes found themselves down early with a goal from way out by ULM's Lena Goppel in the 4th minute. From then on, the Dukes defense kept the visiting Warhawks off the board for the rest of the half, but couldn't even the score, going into the break down 1-0. JMU will respond quickly out of the break with an Alba Fernandez goal to even things up at 1-1. The Dukes nearly took the lead in the 69th minute with a shot off the crossbar by Ellie Johnson, but both sides pulled through to manage a draw. Duke's head coach Joshua Walters was pleased with the effort from several players on the night after allowing an early goal.
Really good recovery defending. Ellie Johnson recovering defending. When Ella Stanley went in, I thought she did really well. Brittany Munson is always there, so I felt like that was good. Good hard work, both teams.
JMU will be back in action this Sunday in Norfolk to play Old Dominion. The Monarchs come into the game with a record of 9-1-2. The game is slated for a 6 o'clock p.m. start time at the ODU Soccer Complex. JMU men's soccer looked to break a 3-game losing spell against South Carolina at Sentara Park last Saturday. The conference matchup brought a high level of physicality, and the Dukes didn't get their first shot off until the 18th minute. The team would continue to give themselves opportunities, including several shots on goal, but the scoreboard would still read 0-0 after one half. After more back-and-forth action in the second half, JMU would take a 1-0 lead in the 65th minute with Dimitri Turner's goal on a header assisted by Kevin Larson. In the 72nd minute, South Carolina's Adam Luckhurst scored in the box to tie the game back up at 1. JMU created many opportunities down the stretch, but none fell through, leaving the Dukes to settle for a 1-1 draw. Now with an overall record of 4-3-3, the team has a chance for a major upset when they play unbeaten West Virginia on the road this Sunday, a challenge they feel ready for.
You got to be fearless. Don't even worry about their record. Don't even worry about their history. Don't even worry about their ranking. We're just as good of a team, and having that confidence in ourselves, we know that we're going to have to go in there, and it's going to be a tough environment.
The Mountaineers are coming off of a 4-3 victory over Georgia State this past Saturday. The matchup will have a start time of 4:00 p.m. at Dick Dlesk Soccer Stadium. That's all I have for soccer. Colby, back to you.
Great stuff from soccer. Thanks, Tommy. The football Dukes returned home last weekend and beat South Alabama 31-23. The team improved to 5-0 on the season and 2-0 in Sun Belt play with standout performances all over the field. Football defeated South Alabama last Saturday in front of 26,064 fans, the third largest crowd in Bridgeforth history. Junior tight end Zach Horn scored twice from 44 and 66 yards, which served as huge touchdowns for the team, who came away with the win.
There is no one on this football team playing consistently better football than Zach Horton.
Despite JMU leading and dominating on both sides of the ball for a majority of the game, it still came down to the defense getting a late stop, which has been a common trend in the Dukes' 4 straight one-score wins.
We kind of stay level the whole game, so once that moment does come, it's still 0-0, like, let's go play ball.
The Dukes defense once again shut down the opponent's running game, holding the Jaguars to 27 yards rushing and recording 10 tackles for loss and 5 sacks. Sophomore linebacker Aiden Fisher described the defensive line as monsters. One of those D linemen, Jalen Green, intercepted a pass and took it to the end zone for the pick six to extend the Dukes' lead to 24-7 nearing halftime.
You know, that was my first career touchdown in college. Definitely great feeling.
The team feels the bye week comes at a great time, with the group feeling fatigued after playing 3 out of their first 5 games of the season on the road.
A perfect time for us to hit the reset button, you know, take care of those bodies, those guys who are banged up.
We're not sneaking up on anybody this year. We have a target on our back, and we're catching everybody's best effort.
The Dukes will have the Saturday off before returning to Bridgeforth Stadium to take on Georgia Southern. Before we wrap up sports, I just want to say happy National Coaches Day to all of the coaches here at JMU. That's all from the world of sports. Zoe and Noel, back to you.
When we come back,
how one foundation works to combat hazing.
Then sexual education takes an entertaining twist in this taboo event.
And writers drop their picket signs and pick up their pens as the writer's strike comes to an end.
Stay tuned, you don't want to miss it.
It's bow time.
Dude, need gas. Yo, we gotta get those Supremes. We're not gonna make it. It's bow time, baby. So worth it, right? I'm glad y'all ran out of gas.
Boldly seasoned chicken Supremes with a biscuit, fixin', and drink. It's bow time.
Tailgating is a song heard across campuses, parking lots, and open fields. They say this song can be heard elsewhere, and perhaps this is true. But it is nowhere near as bright, nowhere near as loud, nowhere near as triumphant as it is right here. Tailgating may not have been born here, but here is where tailgaters are born.
It's bow time. It takes 49 steps to bake a fluffy made-from-scratch Bojangles biscuit. But to make it a country ham biscuit, it takes 50. Get a fresh buttermilk biscuit today with a slice of juicy country-style ham. It's bow time.
Bojangles, Cajun filet biscuit. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Nothing compares to our signature Cajun spiced chicken breast filet on a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. Breakfast so good, we serve it all day. Get the best chicken biscuit. The one, the only made Cajun Filet Biscuit. For a limited time, get 2 Cajun Filet Biscuits for just $5. Bojangles, it's bow time.
This is Breeze TV.
4 drag queens and 1 drag king took to festival stage, strutting their stuff in front of a full house. Soji partnered with the University Program Board for its annual drag show featuring performances from Rhinestone Productions. Contributor Natalia Nelson strapped up her heels for this performance.
Lights, camera, action. The festivities are on for LGBTQ History Month. Soji and the University Program Board hosted their annual drag show to celebrate the history of the community. But Harrisonburg has not always had a drag scene or been accepting of drag. That is, until Jada Knight came along.
Growing up in this area, there was nothing here. So that's why it was 20 years ago I created the experience and the safe space of having shows and creating Rhinestone Productions to be that point of contact and having people go somewhere where they can be themselves, all walks of life, and just indulge in creativity and art.
By creating Rhinestone Productions, Jada made something that fellow queen Angèle Genet called family and a safe haven. She says JMU is a safe space for her and always treats her with love.
Safe place to me, when I walk into a venue, it shouldn't be stressful, I shouldn't be nervous, shouldn't have anxiety. It should feel like you're at home, you're having fun, you're with family. That's what safe is to me. If the show feels like family, that's safe.
While acceptance in the friendly city has grown, a sole protester waited outside of the festival ballroom with a sign.
There are 7 verses in the New Testament against homosexuality. Romans 1:23, 1 Corinthians 6:9.
There's always going to be haters in the world. They're free to do whatever they want to do, just like you're free to do whatever you want to do. So just keep that in mind. Be yourself. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about you as long as you are happy with yourself.
Well, baby, we're out here preaching love and unity. Yeah. You don't have a heaven or a hell to put us in.
Despite an opposing voice, the queens want the community to know that drag isn't going anywhere. Reporting for Breeze TV, I am Natalia Nelson.
Hazing Prevention Week may be over, but for the Love Like Adam Foundation, the work to combat hazing is a year-round affair. News director Kayla Brown has followed Adam's Law since its enactment in July 2022 and is in studio with its impact a year later. Kayla?
Thanks, Zoe. If you're in a student organization, you've probably attended anti-hazing training. But why? These mandatory trainings are part of Adam's Law, legislation in honor of late VCU freshman Adam Oakes. Oakes died from alcohol poisoning while pledging Delta Chi in February 2021. His family founded the Love Like Adam Foundation in his memory. Together, they travel across Virginia, educating students, faculty, and law enforcement on how to prevent another hazing death. The foundation presented at JMU for Hazing Prevention Week on September 27th.
Courtney White could let her grief take control. Instead, it drives her. Since her cousin Adam Oakes' death, she completed her dissertation on hazing and earned her doctorate in education.
Everything I do for him.
Now, the Love Like Adam Foundation is taking a realistic approach to their presentation by using police body camera footage from Adam's death. They showed this video for the first time at JMU.
You can't sugarcoat hazing. Otherwise, you're not going to get through. But if you show them the reality of what destruction it can cause, I think it'll make a bigger impact.
White says while reliving her pain is hard, it's necessary.
What they saw was raw footage, and you could tell they were emotional watching it because it was so real. And we can use his story to teach other kids that we don't want this to happen to them.
One of the 11 brothers charged with Adam's death spoke with students about the dangers of hazing and the risks taken when complicit. Love Like Adam hopes these firsthand accounts leave a lasting impact.
Truly believe that collectively we can make a change. If you hear bad things about that fraternity or sorority, then make a better decision not to join. Don't go to that party.
Hazing reports have skyrocketed at JMU since mandatory anti-hazing training began in fall 2022. Director of Student Life Jen Grossman says this uptick is a good thing.
We just think that more students can identify hazing and they feel safer to come forward. This is not about being punitive. We are not wanting to remove student organizations. It is truly an educational process
Only 52 of the expected 1,000 attended the event, but it's one and the same for the Oaks family.
Interacting with them, engaging with them means a lot to us. I mean, that's our therapy.
I'm fighting for him. I did the dissertation for him because I wanted to show that Adam's Law made a difference in the lives of kids. Adam's made a difference.
As part of Adam's Law, universities are required to publish organization scorecards. At JMU, only 1 out of 12 sororities are on probation, compared to 8 out of 19 fraternities. 2 additional sororities and 1 fraternity are on deferred suspension, with another fraternity a step below at interim suspension. The scorecards championed by Adam's Law are available under the Fraternity and Sorority Life tab on JMU's website. It's no secret, hazing happens here. If you are a victim of hazing in any student organization and would like to share your story, you can email jmubreezetv@gmail.com. Zoe and Noelle, back to you.
Thanks, Kayla. With loads of lighthearted jokes, I Heart Female Orgasm is an event that brings heaps of laughter to college campuses, providing sex education with an interactive twist. The program pulls students in using surveys and clips from fan favorite shows, packing the house each year. Our reporter Emily Host kicked back at the event to give us more.
With a name that may come as a shock to some, the annual event teaches students about the importance of sexual education and communication through a modern lens that can entertain anyone.
What I enjoy about this program in particular is just that sense of like, here's information that you might not have gotten anywhere else, that's shared in a way that hopefully is entertaining and engaging.
Beyond the playful nature of the event, I Heart Female Orgasm also uses its resources to educate campuses on more serious subjects.
It's not just, a fun topic, which it totally is, but also a really important topic in terms of the larger context of talking about consent and sexual assault prevention.
The program brings students of all backgrounds and orientations in each year, sparking discussions amongst the crowd.
These types of conversations are really important to have, especially at this time in our lives, when we're all college students really getting to learn about ourselves.
The duo will be back in Harrisonburg for their next event, Sex in the Dark, on November 1st. For Breeze TV, I'm Emily Host.
From Harrisonburg to Hollywood, thousands of writers and actors have been affected by the Writers Guild of America and Screen Actors Guild strikes. JMU alumni took to the picket lines to advocate for their fairness in the industry.
After 148 days, the Writers Guild of America strike has come to an end. The WGA began their strike on May 2nd, with the Screen Actors Guild following close behind. SAG still stands on the picket lines, fighting for an increase in pay and job security.
JMU alumnus Kevin Gorman was ready to begin his career in screenwriting just as the strike hit.
It's not just a livelihood. It's not like you're just doing this because it's a job. It's like, this is your life. You're all in on doing this.
Actors and writers like Gorman are fighting for fair compensation due to advancements in artificial intelligence and the increase in streaming platforms.
And so hard to wrap our heads around this idea that these people who we're making so much money for just don't care or aren't willing to see the value in what we do.
Although not working for the past few months has been difficult, writers and actors are trying to keep a positive perspective.
In the short term, it's going to sting for a little bit, but long term, this is something that's really going to help, not only my future, but the future of every, creative person that wants to break into the industry.
You have 20 other people who of different levels in the writer's room are there for the same mission as you, and it just feels like you're all on an equal footing.
WGA has reached an agreement with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, but some of the issues go beyond the contract.
You just don't want to feel like you're replaceable.
Reporting for Breeze TV, I am Alexa Bonilla.
Ready for fall weather? You're in luck. It's getting a bit chillier this weekend. Madeline Gallagher is in studio with what you can expect for your weekend weather.
Well, and yes, it is going to be a bit of a cooler weekend. Temperatures are peaking right now at around 76 degrees, and they will continue to decrease to the lower 70s until sunset, where they'll decrease further to the 60s. The field hockey team has a game coming up tonight at 5. During their game, their temperatures will be between 72 and 74. And Saturday is looking mild and sunny with a low of 46 and a high of 62. As you can see, the areas surrounding our region are also seeing similar weather patterns. And on Sunday, the weather is cooling off again
with a low of 40 and a high of 55. And then it's Dukes v. Duke this weekend. The JMU Dukes are facing off against the Duke Blue Devils in field hockey game at home on Sunday. During the course of the game, from 1 to 2, the temperatures will be between 45 and 55 degrees. So bring a blanket and jacket if you're planning on attending. That's all we have for weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Maddie. And as we wrap up our show, are you excited about Young Gravy coming to the homecoming concert?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Breeze TV to be front row, and we're going to show them what Breeze TV is so we can watch every week just like you guys should. So we'll see you guys same time, same place next week.